All right, is everybody feeling craveable? How's this look? Everything good? All right, I'm in. Okay, so building a superpowered brand, that's what we're gonna talk about. So what I want by the end of the day, I want you to feel craveable. I want you to have a superpowered brand that has jet fuel, and it's got Popeye arms, and it's gonna be really craveable. You ready? And you know what? Brian Fanzo is a fun act to follow, just a little FYI. All right, so we already determined there's a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners in here, right? Raise your hands. All right, so who out here is an intrapreneur? Do you know what that is? You said this on a live stream the other day, I think. An intrapreneur is basically an entrepreneur with a paycheck and good health insurance because you're working for a company, right? So what happens, and I have this here as myths, is that I think a lot of people think that when you are a business owner, that you lose that brand you because you're the creator of a product, right? That's your baby. And you kind of get lumped in with whatever that product is, and you kind of lose your own personal brand you. And then if you work for a company, you're an extension of that company, right? So there's really not, the only time they really see brand you is maybe in the about section of your website. So what I want to do is dust off that brand you. You guys ready? I want to have little sparkles, maybe some kind of little jingle jangle on it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so why would you build a brand new? If your business is going well, if everything's going great, why would you take the time and the effort to build a brand new? And here's why. I have win-win-win. I added an extra win in there because people need to hear your story. That's what you've been hearing all day, right? Authenticity and having transparency. People want to hear your story. That's that know, like, and trust factor that you hear about all the time, is when they know about you, that person behind the story. So that's a win for you, for your brand, for your business, because you're adding in this extra extension, this extra layer that people know what that passion was, why you started that company, why you still go to that job, and then they've got that extra layer. And then I love this idea, pension plan for the future you. So your brand, this brand you, is mobile. You're gonna be able to take this with you. Let's say you quit your job, you start a new business, right? You come up with a new idea. That brand you is gonna follow you wherever you go, okay? So guess what else you can do with your brand you? You can wear a lot of different hats. So this is me wearing a lot of different hats. One is a hard hat, obviously, and the other is my Queenies with my tiara. So, thank you, ladies. So the other thing I like too, who here has multiple revenue streams? More than one way of making money. A lot of us do. Sometimes it feels like there's like a little bit of shame with that, and I think with brand you can say, no, I have a lot of different ways to make money. So for me, I have a building inspection business that I've had since 2001. So this building inspection business was kicking, doing so great. 2008 comes, that's the economy tanking, by the way. That's what it sounded like. So I had to reinvent. I had to come up with something new to make money. So I started doing social media, travel blogging, brand ambassadorship, lifestyle, and that's what I still do. I've lumped those all together, but I can wear all these different hats. And that's part of my brand you. So we're gonna talk about how you're gonna figure this out. So you know there's what's called the, what is it called, USV, unique service, or USP, unique selling proposition, thank you. A lot of acronyms here today, folks. So the unique selling proposition is what makes your business unique, what it is it's gonna stand out from the competition. So what I want you to do is come up with something similar, unique brilliance proposition. I saw this online. I thought it was kind of cool. I thought I would also add in 2 different kinds of unicorns, boy and a girl. Everybody can have that. So you're gonna come up with your UBP, and that is the soul that defines your personal brand. So here's how you're gonna do it. It's fun, it's like a recipe, right? First thing you're gonna add in is your accomplishments, the work pieces of your life, your mastery, whatever you've come up with that you're an expert at. So that's everything that's kind of on LinkedIn, right? And that's usually what is your business brand. Then you're gonna add in this fun stuff, this secret sauce, the things that inspire you, the things that people remember about you, and the things why you go to work, but then why you also, it could be your family. For me, it's my rescue Frenchie, wine, clearly, right? Cars, I have all these different things. That secret sauce is the piece that I think people leave out when they're coming up with that brand you. So I want you to put that all together. So how is it that you stand out? What's your flair? Okay, what is, let's say this way, what do people post memes about on your social media, right? For me, like I said, rescue pets, Frenchies, wine, cars, travel, things like that. Can anybody tell me what's something that people always post on their wall and said, I thought of you? Anybody have anything? Coffee. Oh yeah, I know who said that too, by the way. Weed? Yes. So Charlie is here. Yes. They do. Charlie, I saw this thing about pot. I thought I would post it on your wall. He is a CBD oil company. He's the weed guy. So these are some famous folks that I love that have a very, very unique brand. And I love this quote, by the way, figure out who you are and be that on purpose. Now, Lynn Abate Johnson posted that the other day. Do you know who that quote is from? That's Dolly Parton. Do you love that? Figure out who you are and be that on purpose. So these three folks have very distinct UBB or UBPs. So we have Steve Jobs, of course. What's he known for? And? Pixar. Yep. Also kind of being a jerk, actually. I think he was kind of known. And he stuck with that. He's like, I know I'm kind of a jerk. That's the whole thing. He also had this unique look on stage. Mock tee or mock turtleneck and jeans. Boom, that was it, right? Another one is Ariana Huffington. So she's known for the Huffington Post. But then what I love is she's also brought in this new style where she's writing about becoming unbusy. Have you guys seen that? She wrote a great book about sleep and a lot of the things that she really pushed in the beginning of her career. So I love how she's pivoted into this really new brand. And then this last one, Dr. Temple Grandin. Do you know who she is? Yes. So she is a professor of animal science at Colorado State University. She's also very well known for being an incredibly high-functioning autistic. Amazing, amazing woman. So she's not only known for animal husbandry, she actually came up with the first humane slaughter machine. Now this is a woman back in the 50s, right? Getting out there in the fields with these farmers. And then I love too, what she has is that unique look. If you see her speak, that's how she looks. She always has a kind of spiffy little cowboy outfit on too. So see how everybody's come up with these very unique things that you recognize them right away. Now here's some folks that you may know that I love have come up with a very unique brand. There it is. First up, Miss Dawn Swick Renshaw is in the house, and she's the one I believe that yelled coffee. So Dawn is very well known for her love of coffee, polka dots, and then she has a great hashtag, Dawn's Cup of the Day, right? If you go over and see her, by the way, she's sporting everything polka dot, which I absolutely love. Then we have BK, Brian with a Y. So he has a couple different things. Brian came up with the tagline, there's no more B2B or B2C, it's H2H, human to human. And Brian lives that. You heard him talk about it this morning. He also does a little bit of Steve Jobs, too, with the outfit. Did you catch that on stage? Pretty simple, right? Boom, you know exactly what it is. It makes it simpler for him. He's come up with that unique look. Mr. Fanzo, Brian with an I, you saw him in pink everything. So you may have heard him say earlier that he came from a very conservative background in his work. And now talk about a switch. Now he's gone from super conservative, working with military folks. Now he's sporting pink. He has three things: the hat, the shoes, and press the damn button. And he's come up with that. And then we have Kelly. Where's Kelly at? There she is, Kelly Maribella Noble. So she's combined chatbots, ManyChat, everything, with this unique, fun look, 80s look. And guess what? It looks amazing on video, right? So that stands out for her. So these are the things you want to think about for your personal brand example. What are some of the fun flares that you have that you know people recognize you for? So we talked a lot today about what's the why. And I love the thought of what's the what. What is your what? Why it is that you do what you do and what that looks like, how that's personified. I'm really glad I'm mastering the hell out of this thing, right? Yay me. So this is my what, and it's called Live Large, Have Fun. So this was the video. I don't think I can play it. This is the video of the bobblehead from last year. So I love that Jessica knew immediately the love of wine and the love of fun. So I will tell you, coming to this what of Live Large, Have Fun was not easy at all because it seemed frivolous to me initially. Now, how I came up with this, I was part of a mastermind group, and they had this exercise and said, what's your big why, like we've been talking about? What's your what? So I came up with this, and I felt really excited, like, that's it. Live large, have fun. So I said it out loud, and it was like clunk. It went over like a lead balloon. Nobody thought it seemed very entertaining in this business atmosphere because there was a lot of like these magnanimous kind of Mother Teresa things. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I knew truly in my heart, live large, have fun. When I'm living on purpose, when I'm living in joy, when I'm having things that I think are fun, hanging out with fun people, it emanates, and everything around me has better value, my clients, the people that I hang out with. So it was really interesting to come up with that and then stick to it when it wasn't very popular at all. And I will tell you, once I added live large, have fun into my business model, everything changed tremendously because I was living it and I was really sticking to it. So here's some fun things we can do for action items for your craveable personal brand, because you need to have things you think you want to do. So the first thing is an online audit. You want to take a look at what it looks like, what you look like out there in the world. So you want to do a Google of your name, Google your business name, find out what your reputation looks like, and you can tweak it a little bit. Are you going to add more things to it so that is coming out of what your personal brand is? Reputation management companies are amazing. We have one in Denver that I work with, and they go through and help you figure out everything from like those crappy Yelp reviews, which was awesome, and then see how that looks. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a cautionary tale. So what you also want to do is have somebody else search for you, because I had recently someone that was kind of trolling me and was angry at somebody else and left a review on Facebook, kind of wanted to take me along with it. Well, because they had blocked me, I couldn't see it, right? So I had to have somebody come and say, you do realize this is out there about you. So that's kind of a good thing to do. Maybe every couple months, just check and see what there's out there about you, especially when you live large, have fun, and you have a crappy review. Dang. That was no fun. So update social media. Everybody talked a lot about that today. You're going to want to update your social media so it reflects a lot of this fun, and especially LinkedIn. Believe it or not, LinkedIn I think is a great place. Where's Judy? Is it Judy Fox? Is that her name? Yeah, is she here? Is she right there? I can't see her. She'll definitely agree with this. LinkedIn I think is the best place for you to go and talk about yourself. Everything that you do, everything that you've done in your business, every project that you've worked on, anything that's been really successful, go over to LinkedIn. That's like this wonderful curriculum vitae that you can add in every great thing that you've done. Then you can also start putting in things about your personal life. Are you doing volunteer work with your community? We were talking earlier about doing, one of the ways that I incorporate in my business, one of my loves is that I work with a group called Colorado Pet Pantry. Now what they do is they gather food, pet food, and then it goes at a food bank. So think about this. People that don't have that much money for food, they can go in and get food for their pets. It's amazing, right? Keeps pets out of the shelters, keeps pet owners happy. I incorporate that with the cars the car companies give me to drive. And I just go over and put all this dog food in these big trucks and drive around, and I tweet about it and I write about it and I put it on LinkedIn. So you see how you can take your personal brand and weave that in even with your business model. So I think LinkedIn is a great place to go. So obviously broadcasting your personal brand. I love that we talked a lot about live stream stories. So Instagram stories, Facebook stories. How fun is it to take people along with you when you're doing these fun things in your life? You're volunteering at your kids' school. Again, you're going and working with homeless pets. Do you see how that works? You can weave that in your Facebook and in your Instagram and update all of your personal brands with that. Now here's one I love, kryptonite and superpower. I've talked about this before in some of my talks. What that is you want to know what it is you're really good at and what you really don't like to do. And that's always a good thing to have. If you know you're really good at editing or content or working with children, you know that's your superpower. And then know your kryptonite, because then there's somebody else that's probably really good with that, right? Within your circles. So my superpower is, or actually my kryptonite, is I can't stand writing. So there's irony because I'm a blogger. You get that? But then what I've done is take my superpower of loving live streaming and social media, and then I hire people whose superpower is writing and content. See how you can, and then you can bring people in that have their strengths as well too. Random acts of awesome. And some more action items as well. I love the 3 E's. This is where a lot of people are talking about engaging with people, not just pushing your message at them. I have one of the groups I was in, they call it stabbing people with your business card, right? You really want to engage, edify, and encourage. And Charlie does that a lot, our weed guy down here. That's one of the things he does with Fido, right? His CBD oil company, is rather than push the product, he ends up educating a lot of people about what the product does, how they can feel. And it's not about sales anymore. It's literally about, okay, he hears what their concerns are. And I encourage that for you in your personal brand as well. That's going to make you incredibly memorable. The FAQ sheet that the Now Marketing Group put together, I think that's a great thing to refer to. Did you guys all read it? I bet we were talking about it earlier, how to engage with one another. Just take that with you everywhere you go, to every single event. Don't just leave it here. I thought it was so great. And who all did a live stream to introduce themselves? A lot of people did. Wasn't that fun? And then she had you do something unusual or announce something unusual. Of course, reciprocate online and actively listen, kind of in that same vein as well. Who is it? Lisa. So Lisa Loeffler we've been following each other for how long? Long time, right? So I finally get to meet her, but what was great for me is that she's just randomly been tweeting out some of my car reviews and some of the things that I do with no expectation at all. That means so much to me, for your personal brand, that you do that. And that's that reciprocate online and actively listen, especially if it's people that have something similar that's part of your personal brand. Again, pets, family, kids, things like that. Introduction etiquette. You guys heard me rant about this one before? I bet I did last year too. So this is a really interesting one. You're going to want to be introduced to people, or if you have really cool friends, I do. I have great people that people always say, hey, you know Brian Kramer, could you introduce me to him? So guess what I'm not gonna do is just send that person over and give them Brian's phone number or his email. What I do and what you can do is say, that sounds great, why don't you send me an email of what you think would be a good, or why you would want to connect with him, and I will ask him and send that to him. And then I can leave it to Brian if he wants to engage. Does that make sense? Because if you were just sending people all over the place, you could spend so much time every day trying to field introductions that may not be a good fit for you. So if you're also doing that for some of your connections, you're showing respect for them, that you respect their time, and you're gonna make sure. And then always have this email ready, right? If you think there is somebody you want to be introduced to, have that email ready that says, hi, my name is Mia Voss, here's what I do, here's what I think we could connect, and here's how I can help you. Always have that or that thing that you can add in. And here's a little bonus one I didn't put in here. Asking for free time. So it's good. You can ask people, but please be very careful when you ask to pick people's brain or you ask for free time. If you are approaching somebody that you know they get paid for what you're asking them, you're not going to be very memorable to them. Or if you do have an ask, be very careful about it and have something to offer back. Does that make sense? I call it also the hard stop no. Like, nope, can't help you. But I think that just creates a great way that we're all not super popular and not getting paid because we're giving away free advice. We're getting paid for what we do and paying people for what we do. That is a great way to build a personal brand. So here's one of my secret weapons, BYOB. Build your own boards. You know how a couple people were talking earlier too about having these people that you can go to, that you trust. That Brian was talking about this in his talk, and I know it was brought up before too. You can have your own boards. Now, what I did when I first started travel blogging is I had a very small audience, but I had a kick-ass group of friends that had a really great audience and a bigger audience than I did, and so I went to them and said, now, if I'm gonna travel or if they're gonna give me this car, could you share this out for me? And so look how that increased my numbers. So that was my board of influencers. They trusted me. I wasn't going to ask them to share anything that they didn't trust. But you can do that in everything in your life. Board of influencers, board of advisors, they were talking about having a mastermind and so forth. You can build these groups of people around you that edify you, that give you support, expertise, feedback, guidance, and most importantly, energy. Energy is a huge thing. If you have people that are draining you all the time, you're not going to get any work done. But if you have people you can go to and say, hey, am I off about this? Hey, can I run something past you? And have all these different boards. It'd be so cool, right? So, who's read the 4 agreements? Have you? It's an amazing book, right? Great personal development book, Don Miguel Ruiz. And I thought it would be fun to take the 4 agreements and apply them to your personal brand, see what we can come up with. Be impeccable with your word. This one can be tough, right? Because it's something, they say in the book that it's also not only speaking well about yourself, but well about others. And so I think speak with integrity is an amazing thing that doesn't happen as much because it's really easy to talk crappy when you're on a keyboard, right? That's been happening a lot. People are hiding behind keyboards. If you're that person that's speaking with integrity, talk about how amazing your personal brand is going to seem to people. And they're going to know that if you're speaking with integrity, you're going to do the same thing about them. I love that do what you say you're going to do. It's amazing. It's super simple. All of these, by the way, all of these agreements are super simple. They're an ecosystem. They go well together. Simple but tough. So you have to do what you say you're going to do, except if you don't want to live stream every day like Mike was asking, then you can probably push it a little bit. And then setting boundaries and sticking with them. If you are setting boundaries and you're not overcommitting, the hard stop, no, I can't, boop, that's it. You're gonna be able to stick with to do what you say you're gonna do. Boundaries are a huge, huge thing. And I think it's really coming into style to say no instead of saying yes all the time. And I think that's a great new trend and I hope it stays around. Don't take things personally. Ooh. This is me not taking things personally in Rome. Woo, right? It's really hard to not take things personally. Charlie knows a lot of times I'll read something and be like, what does that mean, right? Because I took it really personally. Here's the deal. A lot of times it's not about you. And Kelly, I'm gonna call out real quick that you mentioned online the other day that somebody sent you a message kind of busting her chops about, well, what are you having, a midlife crisis with all the colors or whatever? That was not about her. That was about them. Just somebody taking a pot shot at her. And same thing I could have done with the live large, have fun. Not taking it personally takes a lot of the worry out. Did you guys ever read that book, He's Just Not That Into You? Do you remember that? You can kind of use that in business because once you go, they're not for me, they're just not that into me, you're gonna have all this time to one, not question, what does that mean? Why don't they like me? And go on to the people, focus on what works. And that can be in business, personal, jobs, the whole thing. Boy, do you have a lot more time when you do that. Don't make assumptions. Also tough. What does that mean? Because you assumed. Now, Ross, they'll get a kick out of this if Ross Brand is still here. We always joke about the new mode of communication is going to be the tin can and the string. This is what it looks like when you're not communicating well. See that? Another one of those noises. If you're communicating clearly, if you're asking clarifying questions, if you're not making assumptions, because making assumptions does what? Yes. And it reduces conflict. So again, asking clarifying questions, asking tough questions, always a good thing to do. And again, these can seem simple, but if you keep all of these in your little ecosystem, always do your best. And I love how this picture is world's best coffee, because those are fighting words, right? That could be their best coffee. May not be my best coffee, right, Dawn? We're pretty picky. But notice how I have your capitalized, your best, not the best, or society's best, your best. Second point, results may vary, because you never know how you're feeling that day, right? Now this week, or the last 3 weeks, I've been on, 6 planes, traveling, doing my best, coming here, doing this talk. Next week, my best is gonna look like Netflix and chill with a bunch of wine, okay? I'm gonna be tired. I know that I'm gonna be worn out and that I've over-peopled. So my best is gonna be taking care of myself, self-care, doing some downtime. So finding out what your best is, and especially if you're already aligned on these other 4 agreements, super, super simple to know what that's about, because comparison is a crusher. You're shooting all over yourself, right? Trying to figure out, I should be doing this, or I should be keeping up with so-and-so. If you know what your best is, your world's best coffee, you'll do great. Now I'm gonna get a little woo on you and talk about intuition. So I have this great phrase that I saw online, infoition. It's a combination of intuition and information. So right now in society, intuition has almost been bred out of us, right? Shamed out of us, talked out of us. Oh, it's just your imagination. If we are getting in tune, intuitive, and then using information, we're gonna be able to make so many amazing decisions because we're not doubting ourselves, right? Not a lot of conversation. I love that combination. I love this little graphic, by the way. Look how happy he is with his intuition shining on him. So, wrapping up, because we need to have drinks or whatever it is we need to do, or axe throwing, whatever we're gonna go do. I really wanna encourage you, obviously, to build your own brand, but encourage everyone else in your company, in your group, in your boards. Because again, if we all have this brand ourselves and we're running at that high level, it's gonna be really good. And I have to say that Jessica and her team, do you not feel like we see that exactly, that she's not only celebrating her company and this brand, but everybody else is a brand new as well. You can really see that within all of them. So I am Mia Voss. I would love to hear how you're doing with your brand you. Subscribe at Mia on the Go and have some downloads, and then follow me and tweet whatever you like. And that's what I have to say about building a personal brand. Where's my drink?